Hi, everybody. So, I know you all know we're in times of great change. Do some of you read my blog that I put out? So you kind of know what I think. And so we're on the cusp of big change this year. And I know a lot of people follow 2012, and so just from that standpoint, people feel that there's going to be a lot of change. Of course, that's December 21st of this year, and the changing of the ages according to the Mayans from one calendar and one world to the next. But if you studied the Hopis, like I lived in the Southwest for a while, so we learned a lot about the Hopi philosophy. And of course, Hopi philosophy also is that we're at a cusp of great change and a new age. And even if you listen to some Christian philosophy, even they would say that we're on the cusp of great change. And astrologically speaking, we are moving from one age to another, from a Pisces age to an Aquarian age. Each age is approximately 2,100, not approximately, it's exactly 2,160 years. The reason that we don't know, and different astrologers have different takes on it, is we don't know like where the actual beginning is. So the 2,160 is kind of arbitrary when that exactly is. Most people believe that surrounding the time where Christ was born was around the time of the changing of ages. And of course, the Pisces age, and Pisces itself, has a lot to do with Christ. And many religions became big, organized religions during this Piscean age. Well, now we change ages. We change ages into an Aquarian age. And like I said, different astrologers have a different take on that. My take is that around 2020, when Jupiter and Saturn will be conjunct in Aquarius, that's the time that I believe that we can see as a marking point. That doesn't mean, and it doesn't mean for the Mayan calendar either, that when that date hits it, oh my God, now we're in a whole new world and everything is all different. It's more like, things slowly change, but you need some kind of like idea of like when things will go to the next level, just generally speaking, and that's what I would see astrologically. And of course, astrology is just a measuring of cycles, and actually it's just an extension of nature. I mean, some cycles in nature are pretty obvious, like we change from one season to the next, or you see the moon change from full moon to half moon to new moon, back again to full moon. That again is nature. Well, most people don't really see that nature would be also from bigger cycles. But nature also is the bigger cycles. So Pluto, Uranus, Neptune, they also tell us when a new cycle is changing, when a new season is happening. And there's three transformational planets: Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And those are all recently discovered planets. 1781 for Uranus, 1846 for Neptune, 1930 for Pluto. Those planets being new also tell us what the universe is bringing to us that's new. So it's almost as if Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are symbols and represent what that new age is going to be like. Uranus was the first one in 1781, and those of you that study history, you don't even have to study history very much, just go to school. Around 1781, there were two great revolutions that were happening on our planet: French Revolution and the American Revolution. That has a lot to do with Uranus. Uranus is the ruler, in quotation marks, of Aquarius. And Uranus is about breaking away from the yoke of kings and queens, which is also governments. Now it's mega corporations, but it's breaking away from that which tells us human beings how to live our lives. So Uranus was the first messenger from the universe when it was discovered in 1781, telling us a lot about what the new age, Aquarian age, would be like. Remember, Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So that was like being on the cusp of this new age when Uranus was discovered. Then when Neptune was discovered, the Communist Manifesto came out in 1846, and in 1930 is when Gandhi was standing up against the British Empire when they were in control of India. So these are the times when these planets were discovered, and synchronistically, these are times when we got to witness what the transformation into an Aquarian age would be like. It's power to the people against those that would try to control the people. Every time those planets get together, like conjunctions, squares, something like that, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, it's a time when we know on Earth that it's going to be another great wave of change. So, in 1965 and 1966, Uranus and Pluto were conjunct. And that was the time that brought on the 60s revolution. Now, from 2012 to 2015, Uranus and Pluto have another meeting. It's their first major meeting since the 60s. And they're square to one another from 2012 to 2015. So this tells us that we have another big wave of revolution and change coming to our planet. And of course, since we're closer to the end of an age and the beginning of a new age, even closer than we were in 65, 66, we can anticipate that the changes are going to be even larger than they were before. Another time that transformational planets made conjunction in some of our lifetimes, all of us, right? I think. No, maybe not you, Chris, but 1993, Uranus and Neptune were in conjunction with one another. In 1993, that pretty much brought on the computer internet revolution, and it also was around the time that other kinds of spirituality started getting much stronger. New Age kind of philosophies, things like that. So that was Uranus-Neptune. So now we have this Uranus-Pluto square, and that's bringing us another wave of evolution. So now when we've got like eclipses that hit, I remember when I first started doing astrology many years ago, and the eclipses would come around, of course they'd be change, but they really didn't bring on nearly as much change as they have over the last couple of years. And I believe that that's because, since we are closer to the cusp of the changing of ages, everything that happens astrologically has an exaggerated amount of energy to it and change to it because of where we're at in our story of being human. So what does it mean when we go through transformation? Well, transformation to me is about letting go of the consciousness and the way of living that's a part of the old age. And it's embracing the way of living and the consciousness of this new age. And people sometimes they get really shook up when they know that there's going to be like a great wave of change that's coming in. They're anticipating like great disasters and things are going to happen in their lives. If there are going to be big things that happen in your life, it's only because those are the things that keep you away from the kind of consciousness and the kind of life that will make you more attuned and aligned with what the new age is that we're moving into. The new age, the more you move into that consciousness, the more you'll connect with your authentic self, the more you'll connect with a true sense of purpose for yourself, the more you'll start connecting more with your deeper soul, the more you'll start connecting more with the universe, the more you'll start connecting more with community. In general, the more you'll start connecting more, period. Because the world that we live in and we've been programmed in teaches us, I believe, that we are all separate, that we really aren't connected, that we really aren't all one. And that there isn't oneness in the universe. The dots of the universe, so to speak, I believe, are all connected. And the more you can get into that kind of consciousness, the more you can be a part of what this new world is going to be. So every time you get a wave of change in your life, if you can see it as, okay, this is an opportunity that I've got now to shed and release some old attitudes, some old beliefs, some old ways of living my life that really don't serve me very well or the people around me very well. Because, like, I just talked to a couple of people yesterday that I did work with, and they both told me that, I live in this, like, really nice house, and I've got the family just the way you would think a family should be, and I've got a job, and it pays really good money, and I've got a really beautiful car, And so, why am I not happy? Well, it's because those things that we're taught and we're programmed to believe are going to give us happy, wonderful lives don't necessarily give us happy, wonderful lives. Because if you're not really connected to who you are from an authentic level in your heart, you're not going to be happy. And if you're not connected to nature and the universe and the natural cycles of yourself and life, you're really not going to be happy. And if you don't feel like you're part of a larger community, and you don't feel like you're connected to something beyond just yourself, I don't see how you can be happy. So when you get these changes and come in your life and you go, oh my God, I can't believe that I'm losing blah, blah, blah. You know, and I'm not trying to make light of it. I've gone through those myself, and it's really horrible when you have to let go of something that you feel is really represents something that's been in your life for a long time. Anything familiar, whether it's good or bad for you, is hard to let go of, right? I mean, it's like I remember when I was smoking many, many years ago. When I had to give up my last cigarette, it was like, oh my God, this friend I've got that I've had, you know, this friend was killing me. So some of you know friends or relatives that are killing you too, and they're hard to like let go of or not spend so much time with like you'd like to, but you have to. I don't mean you have to necessarily let them go and not have any relationship with them anymore, but perhaps you got to let them go enough so that they don't like hook into you, and you don't hook into them in a certain kind of way that keeps you stuck in an old way of being. As you let go of them, or at least let go of that way of relating to them, and sometimes you actually have to separate from them somewhat in order to let go of them, then you start finding that you can be closer and closer to this authentic self that you're developing and that you're growing into. I'm sure all of you, or most of you, have come to a place in your life where you just keep growing. And then you meet somebody that you've been around for your whole life, and they look at you in that same way that they saw you before. And you just can't shake the shackles of your old self in their company. So even though it may feel, kind of mean or not nice to not be around them as much, for the sake of your own self-actualization, and actually for the sake of your connection to the universe and to God, it's like important to let that go and let them go in a way that actually turns out to be best for everybody, not just for you.